I never thought one mistake could shatter everything I believed about love. My name is Emily, and for 5 years I thought I had the perfect marriage. Mark was charming, attentive, and always made me feel like I was the only woman in the world. Or at least, that's what I believed, until I found the first crack in the illusion. It was late one night when his phone buzzed on the nightstand. Normally, I never checked his messages. Mark always said trust was the foundation of our love, and I agreed. But something about the way he quickly flipped the phone over made my stomach twist. When he went to take a shower, I picked it up. The message was short, but it hit me like a punch in the chest. I miss you already. Can't wait to see you again. No name. Just a heart emoji. My hand shook so badly I nearly dropped the phone. My first thought wasn't anger, it was denial. Maybe it was from a coworker, a friend, even his sister. But deep down, I knew. Something was wrong. For days I couldn't eat or sleep, replaying every smile, every late-night work meeting, every excuse he'd made. My perfect world suddenly felt like a lie. Still, I wasn't ready to confront him. I needed to know the truth first. So, I made a choice that night. I was going to follow him. I was going to find out who the woman behind those words was, and if my marriage had been nothing more than a carefully crafted illusion. And what I discovered was worse than anything I had imagined. The next week, Mark told me he had to stay late at the office again. His tone was casual, rehearsed even, but my heart pounded as I nodded and smiled like nothing was wrong. The second he left, I grabbed my keys, waited a few minutes, and then followed his car at a distance. He drove across town, not toward his office, but to a small cafe tucked away on a quiet street. I parked far enough so he wouldn't notice and sat frozen as I watched him step out. My stomach dropped when a woman appeared from inside. She wasn't someone I recognized, long dark hair, confident posture, and a smile that looked too familiar. Mark's face lit up in a way I hadn't seen in months. He hugged her, lingering just a little too long, then they walked inside hand in hand. I couldn't breathe. It felt like the air had been sucked out of my lungs. For years, I believed I was the center of his world, and now I was just watching him give that love to someone else. I sat there for nearly an hour, watching them laugh, lean in close, whisper across the table like two people in the honeymoon phase, and all the while, rage and heartbreak battled inside me. When he finally left, I drove home before him, pretending nothing had happened. But inside, I was unraveling. Every touch, every kiss he gave me after that night felt poisoned. I wanted to scream, to confront him right there, but a part of me needed to understand more. Who was she? How long had this been going on? And most importantly, was I strong enough to walk away after 5 years of love, lies, and promises? The truth was, I wasn't ready to let go just yet. So I decided to play along, while secretly digging deeper into his betrayal. The next morning, Mark kissed my forehead like always before leaving for work. I forced a smile, but inside, I was boiling. As soon as the door shut, I grabbed my laptop and started digging. His emails, his calendar, even his bank statements, I went through everything. That's when I found it. Hotel receipts. Fancy restaurants I'd never been to. All charged late at night when he swore he was stuck in meetings. My hands clenched so hard on the mouse that my knuckles turned white. But what gutted me most wasn't the money, it was realizing how much effort he put into hiding it. He didn't just slip up once. He built an entire second life behind my back. I decided to take it a step further. I found the cafe online, checked its tagged photos on social media, and scrolled until my stomach churned. There she was, the same woman I saw with him. Her name was Vanessa. And in one of the pictures, I saw Mark's jacket draped over her shoulders. It felt like a knife twisting deeper with every post I read. She wasn't just a fling. She was part of his life now. That night, as he sat on the couch scrolling through his phone, I stared at him from across the room, wondering how he could look so calm, so normal, while I was drowning in the truth. I wanted to scream, to throw his phone at him, to tell him I knew everything. But I stayed quiet. Because I wasn't ready for the confrontation yet. I needed to think. To plan. I wasn't going to just catch him. I was going to make him see the damage he had done. A week later, I set my plan in motion. I told Mark I was going to visit my sister for the weekend. He barely looked up from his phone when he said, "Have fun." My chest tightened, but I forced myself to leave like everything was normal. Instead of driving to my sister's, I circled back and parked near the same cafe. Hours passed before he showed up, and right behind him, Vanessa. They didn't notice me as they walked inside, holding hands like teenagers. I followed them quietly, my heart pounding so hard I thought it would burst. They sat at their usual corner table, whispering, laughing, leaning into each other. It was sickening. My husband, the man who promised me forever, was living a double life right in front of me. I pulled out my phone and snapped photos. Each click felt like a dagger, but I knew I needed proof that I wasn't crazy, that I hadn't made this all up in my head. When Mark leaned in and kissed her across the table, my hands trembled so violently I almost dropped my phone. Tears burned my eyes, but I swallowed them back. I wouldn't give in to weakness. Not now. I left before they could see me, my chest heavy with betrayal but my mind sharper than ever. I finally had the truth in my hands. No more denial, no more pretending. But what haunted me most wasn't the betrayal itself, it was the question that followed me home, when. The next morning, I woke up with a strange calmness. For the first time in weeks, I felt clarity. I walked into the kitchen where Mark sat sipping his coffee, scrolling his phone like always. I placed the folder of printed photos, receipts, and screenshots right in front of him. He froze, his face draining of color as he slowly looked up at me. "Emily." "I can explain," he stuttered, but his voice cracked. "No," I said firmly. "You've been explaining with your lies for months. Now, you're going to listen." I laid everything out, the hotel charges, the texts, the photos of him with Vanessa. His excuses tumbled out one after another, each one more desperate than the last. "It was a mistake, it didn't mean anything, I still love you." But every word sounded hollow, like a bad script. And then, I told him the truth. "You broke something in me that you can't fix. For years, I gave you everything, my love, my trust, my loyalty. And you traded it for secrets and cheap thrills." Tears welled in his eyes, but I didn't feel pity. Not anymore. I felt strong. "I deserve better," I whispered, my voice steady. "And I'm finally choosing myself." I grabbed my bag, walked out the door, and for the first time in a long time, I felt free. The weight of betrayal was heavy, but the strength I found in leaving was heavier. Because sometimes, the most powerful love story is the one you write for yourself.